Hi guys, it is Chris, back in the cider shed with some more cider to try. You know the score by now, that's how it works. Right, so what have we got today? Well, another one from my box of samples, and it's another one from Barleywood Orchards. So we did what did we do the other day? Red Street, Somerset Red Street, I seem to remember, doing the other day. And this one is Tremlett Bitter. So I think from Devon, this varietal, as the name suggests, bitter. It's a bittersweet, but quite high tannin, which it suggests, with the name bitter in there. Suspect to be some tannins in this, but this is also aged in a whisky cask, bottle conditioned in a whisky cask. So everyone knows me, knows that I'm a bit about putting things in whisky casks and rum casks and any other sort of cask, because sometimes what it does, it just masks the flavour of the cider. And if you're trying to make great cider, you don't want to smother it with whiskey. You don't want to smother it with anything, really. You want to taste the cider. So it has to be done subtly. It has to be done sympathetically. And very often, it isn't. It isn't. And it bugs me when it isn't. Because it's just a gimmick then. It's just a gimmick. It has to bring something to the party. It doesn't bring something to the party if it spoils the party. If it's a party pooper, we don't want it in there. So let's see if this is something we want at the party or someone we want to leave the party now. So 6.5%. Barleywood Orchards, Wall Gardens, near Bristol, these guys, ish, I believe. Never been there. I'd like to go. It looks nice on the images. So let's open it. Yep. Bit of fizz, because it's bottle conditioned. Again, brown bottles. You can't see exactly what's in here yet. Makes it all the more fun when we pour it out. So there you go. So gold, I'm saying that's a nice gold colour. Again, good head retention. I seem to remember the other one, good head retention. You see that? There you go. Yeah, gold. Quite a nice deep gold. So nice fine bubbles. Still got a bit of a mousse on there. Let's swirl it around and smell it. Okay, so I would suggest this. It is sympathetically done, because there's a mere tiny bit in the background. If anything, it reminds me of the Tam O'Shanter from Pilton. Really subtle whiskey, just there, just in the background, is what you want. It was like the Armagnac cask, Dabinet / and Michelin that came out of Ross and White. Really gentle, subtle, just there in the background, almost like seasoned it rather than flavoured it, if you know what I mean. So again, super cold because it's freezing in the shed, and I'm keeping them in the shed. I think the last tasting I did, I actually added some notes in over the top of what it tasted like as it evolved in the glass after I'd done the tasting. And if this evolves, I will do the same thing again, because I think it's totally worthwhile. There's definitely some whiskey there, actually. It's getting a little bit more prominent as I'm smelling it, but it's still not bam in your face whiskey. I'm getting some sort of gentle autumnal apple character underneath that. Yeah, that's about it. Quite subtle nose as it stands when it is cold. When it warms up, it'll probably get more aromatic. Well, let's try it, shall we? Whoa! So yes, this is indeed a dry cider. A really dry cider. Yeah. Astringency on the teeth. Really bold astringency on the teeth. It really is. And there's a definite apple character in there. You know, it's quite deep, dark, and there's some leatheriness on the back end as well. There's a deep apple character to it. And a very, very, very subtle hint of whiskey, which I can kind of deal with, because it's not too much. I think when it warms up, it's probably going to get more prominent again, but on the nose, I'm getting almost like melon, like cantaloupe or something like that. Now I'm smelling it again. It's making me think of melon. I don't know if that's a whiskey and apple together. It gives it sort of a melon character. It doesn't sound likely, does it? But yep, definite melon character on the nose. And I do like that. The thing that had that the most I've had in the last year is probably the Wild Rabbit from Secret Orchard. That had a lovely melon character I really liked. Okay, it says it's dry, and it genuinely is. And I appreciate that. I really do. Big tannins, leatheriness on the back, the stringency on the teeth. The merest hint of whiskey. I think on here it said vanilla and honey. So we read what it says. Pressed on a traditional manual rack and cloth press and fermented in an oak Speyside whisky cask. So Speyside, so more toffee and caramelly sort of character, I think, from Speyside. This cider has a fresh aroma with hints of honey and vanilla from the whisky cask mixed with ripe apple and citrus fruit. A unique sour acidity and lots of minerality all follow up with plenty of punchy tannins. I mean, it's not greatly acid. I think the last one I had from them was very, very low acid, in fact. This has got more acid than that, but it's not boldly acid, I wouldn't say. It's a nice acidity. Yeah. It's minerality. It's a nice, gentle, mouth-watering acidity. It's good. I don't think this is in any way acid. Christ, compared to some of the stuff we have, this is low acid, I would suggest. Honey and vanilla. Meh, maybe the power of suggestion from reading the notes makes me think there's honey and vanilla in there. But what I'm actually really getting is that very, very faint watermelon. Watermelon, or maybe it's watermelon on the palate. Really faint. And I'm thinking just actually whiskey, to be honest, what I'm thinking. But it's really delicate, just in the background, really subtle. Yeah, vanilla and oak, don't know. Let's see how it warms up, though. Those things might become more prominent, as I said, as it warms up. So yeah, totally different to the last one that we had. And I'm glad, because the last one was it was easy drinking. It was soft, it was round, there wasn't anything challenging about it. It was a pleasant cider. This is more for people who are more into their ciders, I would say. For a lot of people, it would be quite challenging, because it is bone dry. This is dry like a Ross cider would be dry, but no funk. No funk. Yeah. It's actually pretty good. I'd like to have it with some cheddar, some cheese. Actually, it's from the Trethowens. They're very close to the Trethowens dairy, actually. So they're pitchfork. That's what I'd like to have with this. I think when you get these sort of properly dry, tannic ciders from Somerset, or anywhere in the southwest, to be honest, you need something rich and fatty to sort of oil your mouth up, ready for those astringent tannins. And the two things work very well together. So cider and cheddar, great combo. Got a bit of Havod in the house, actually, so I might try it with a little bit of that Welsh cheddar, but made to a sort of Victorian English Somerset recipe. They use like very old recipes from the 19th century to develop that, and it's like very traditional in style. Despite being made in Wales rather than Somerset, it really is one of the closest things you're going to get to a traditional old school Somerset cheddar. Blah, blah, blah. All right, guys, not bad. So we've still got a few to go. I've got one from Luxembourg. What's it called again? Ramborn from Luxembourg. Never had a Luxembourg cider, so that one's interesting. I think we've got another Kingston Black to try, so that's good. We always like trying Kingston Blacks. There you go. From Temple Cider in Dorset. And we also have this one, which is kind of cool. This is from Green Shed, and this is Vilbury. And I have had a Vilbury before. I had it from Ross and Y, and I did the filming of that tasting in a motel in Monmouthshire, something like that, Raglan Lodge in Monmouthshire, and then accidentally deleted it. But I drank the whole bottle by then. I only got one as a sample, so I never got to film. So you never got to see that. So it's not the first Vilbury I've had, but it's the first one you'll have seen me drink for sure. Anyway, thanks for joining me as always. I hope to see you again soon. And until then, cheers.